All right, in today's math lesson, we're going to continue working with coins, and we are going to further our adding coins lessons from the previous two. And today we're going to add mixed coins. So we're going to work with all four coins and adding them together. So we have pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. So a quick review of previous lessons. We have our four coins. The penny is worth 1 cent. The nickel is worth 5 cents. The dime is worth 10 cents, and the quarter is worth 25 cents. All right, and sorting coins, as you should know by now, is always the first step when you work with coins. The four coins you work with are different sizes. They have different faces on the front and different images on the back. And we went over how much they're worth and their names. And one last quick review. If we have 4 quarters, that's how we're going to make them and sort them into piles or stacks of 4. So 4 quarters equals $1. That's why we put them in piles or stacks of 4. When we work with dimes, we put them in piles of stacks of 10 because 10 dimes equals $1. With nickels, we can go 2 ways, but we're going to focus on making piles or stacks of 5. That gives us 25 cents. So it's nice and easy to work with. We have 5 that equals 25 cents. And then we're working pennies. Just like dimes, we're going to make piles of stacks or 10 pennies, and that equals 10 cents. So by sorting our coins and then counting them into piles, it'll be easier to work with when adding our coins. All right, let's get into it. Step 1, when adding mixed coins, you guessed it, is to sort them. Step 2, we're going to work with the highest value coins first. So we're going to put quarters, then to dimes, then to nickels, then to pennies. So we're going to count all of our quarters into piles of 4. We're going to count our dimes into piles of 10. We're going to count our nickels into piles of 5. And we're going to count our pennies into piles of 10. Keep all the leftover or remaining change in uniform piles. So you count your quarters into piles of 4. Let's say you have 2 left over. Keep those next to your quarter piles. Okay, so don't mix them in with the other change. Same thing. When you're counting your piles of dimes into piles of 10, if you have 7 left over, just put them to the side near your dimes. Okay, same with nickels and pennies. All right, our next step, once everything is sorted and counted into the piles that we're going to work with, we're going to start with the quarters. We're going to count the piles of quarters by dollars. So every pile that you have in front of you is going to be $1. So if you have 2 piles, you'll have $2. And you're going to write down the total on a piece of paper, or if you're using the computer, just type it down into the sheet you're working with. Next, you're going to count the remaining quarters by 25 cents. So if you have 2 extra quarters, it'll be 25 cents, 50 cents. So you'll write down 50 cents. Next, you're going to count the pile of dimes by dollars. So every completed pile of dimes you have, that'll be $1. All right, you're going to count the remaining dimes by 10 cents. That's how much each dime is worth. You're going to do the same with nickels. You're going to count the pile of nickels. You have 5 nickels per pile. That pile is worth 25 cents. So let's say you have 4 piles of nickels. 1 pile is 25 cents. You add the second pile, that's 50 cents. The third pile gives you 75 cents. The fourth pile gives you $1, and write that number down. Count the remaining nickels by what they're worth, 5 cents, and write that number down. Next, go to the pennies. Each pile of pennies is worth 10 cents. If you have 3 piles, you have 30 cents. And count the remaining pennies by 1 cent. Next, once you have all your numbers written down, use a calculator to add up the totals. All right, so there's a calculator on your Chromebooks and computers. There's a calculator in the phone. If you have a calculator at home, you can use that as well. All right, so if that sounded confusing, let's go over some examples. All right, so we have our sorted coins. We have our quarters, our dimes, our nickels, and our pennies. We have 1 pile of 4. That equals $1 plus we have 1 quarter left over. That's 25 cents. We have $1.25 in quarters. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dimes. That gives us $1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dimes left over. That gives us $1.60. All right, we have our nickels. We have 2 piles or sets of 5. Each pile is worth 25 cents. We have 50 cents worth of dimes. In our pennies, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pennies. Now, using a calculator, I added all these numbers, and on this page, we have $3.41 in coins. All right, we're going to move to our second example. We have 2 piles of quarters with 1 left over. That gives us a total for quarters of $2.25. We have 2 piles of dimes. That's $1, $2, plus 10, 20, 30 cents. So we have $2.30 in dimes. We have 1, 2, 3 sets of nickels. So we're going to count our piles of nickels by 25 cents. So 25, 50, 75 cents in nickels. And our pennies, we have our 1 pile of 10, 11, 12, 13 cents. Now, using a calculator, we're going to add them up. 225 plus 230 plus 75 plus 13 cents equals $5.43. Now, next, once you're done viewing this presentation, you're going to go to the student practice section and open Money Math lesson number 5 and complete that assignment. We're going to work with adding mixed coins for the next 2 lessons. So this week, there's going to be 2 adding coin lessons to work with, just because it's kind of a bigger concept using all 4 coins. So we're going to have some extra practice to work with it before we move on to our next lesson. So here is your student practice. I'm just going to walk through it real quick. Step 1, sort coins. So we are going to take the penny and put it in the penny column. You're going to take the nickel, put it in the nickel column. All right, this is the same sorting coin as we had in our first sorting coin lesson. So this should be a nice review. All right, we have our sorted coins. This first problem is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slides total. You're going to start with the quarters, counting the piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each pile of quarters is worth $1. So we have $5, and we have 3 leftover quarters. You're going to write the total right here for the quarters. Same thing for the dimes. Count your dimes. Write your total in the box below. Next, move on to the nickels. Count your piles by 25-cent increments, then add the remaining nickels by 5 cents. Write your total. Last, you're going to add up your pennies, write your total below. And then what I want you to do is, using a calculator, go through your 4 slides, adding the quarters, the dimes, the nickels, and the pennies, and type in your grand total on this slide here. Your last problem, it's the same as the previous one, but it's all on one slide now. So you're going to write in your quarter total amount, your dime, your nickel, your pennies, and then write your grand total. All right. If this is too confusing or too busy, please reach out to me and I can work one-on-one with you going through these slides to assist you further. All right. That is your math lesson for today. And like I said, reach out with any questions. If you have coins at home to work with, that might be easier than using the computer. Feel free to use that. Have a parent or a sibling help you if you have any questions, or reach out. All right, everyone, enjoy.